all through was just yell egg at the top problem.
Egg?
That's it. Egg.
All right, we're live.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, that was a sound.
I tried to say something, but my brain just shut down and screamed and
Sweet. So if somebody could find that online and do an at here, in the server, that would be awesome.
I'll try.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me test that link, see if it works. No, nothing
Red,
happens.
white, green,
Let me
or blue.
interview a browser.
Da 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 da
I'm not
da
exactly a
da da
technician
da.
here, so
Uh
it
oh.
might be a while. This address is invalid.
If you're multicolored, that's cool
Okay.
too.
I love that song. Do you want me to link it in announcements?
Yeah, sure. So it appears that you both happen to be mods. So if you
Yes,
two could just like watch the chat for me since I'm hosting, that would be helpful.
totally.
Cool.
I,
I'm excited, and I'm excited
although
to.
it does, I mean, like, I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but it is a tiny bit like I can trust this server because I've never seen anybody break the rules in a really long time, if at all.
Sorry, you just faded out there.
Oh, I turned the mic away. I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen any rules broken on this server in a really long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
people are generally pretty good, but it's still a good idea, and I'm on it,
Yeah.
Cass.
Thank you. Um, or even just like
Also,
if
ZJ's
something
in the
cool comes
chat.
up
What's
and
up,
we wanna,
ZJ?
yeah, do the shout outs. I'm loving the
What's going
dying
on?
noises, Lumi. Uh,
Lumi over here is having a heart attack.
right. Um, uh, my mind just keeps thinking of the other Lumi and how like what
Yeah, same.
what are we
I
gonna
was like,
do
are they the
if
same person?
both Lumi? No, this is a very different Lumi.
Yeah, I've figured that out.
Lumi gang.
Lumi gang, but they do
Listen,
both have
let's take over
Pokemon
the world.
Abbies, so
That is
that's a
true.
thing. Yeah. Anyways, I am hoping that what's on the ticket for tonight? Well, we're gonna figure that out as we go along, as always. But I have a few ideas. First off, my NES came.
Woo!
Just the last part that I needed to like actually set it up to play music, it came today. Thank you so much, Tris, for helping me figure out what I needed. Because I
Yeah,
would
for
have been completely
sure.
lost without that.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you.
Ah, you're gonna have to help me with like the specifics later. Um,
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
it'd be
pretty
fun.
straightforward, but I'm happy to help.
hmm I mean, like, I feel like I have a lot of different materials that I'm not very familiar with, so
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Oh, by the way, did we officially do an intro? I feel naked with that one.
oh,
Um, well, I mean, there was me screaming if that got recorded.
we could sing Flamingo.
I'm pretty sure it did.
That sounds like an awesome idea.
I mean, we can sing Flamingo, but it probably won't be in sync because there's like latency between
This is
Discord
true.
stuff.
I'm just
But
gonna,
Yes,
next time we're in the same space, we should definitely sing Flamingo.
yeah,
Um,
I
I'm
would
going
definitely want
to try
to hear
and
what.
show my screen here. There we go. All right, so we've got Tris, and we've got Lumi,
Chris,
and
I
we've
think you're
got
supposed to say
me,
something. Oh, hi!
and we've got lots of other people in the sub
I
text chat
swallowed an
who
entire
might
pepperoni.
or may not join, including Bros or Jose, Charlotte,
The
or
forgotten ones.
uh,
The
Master
souls that were
System
lost
Gal,
upon this world.
and Toaster Pastries, uh, Minecraft, uh, cooking pastry
Creeper.
in the toaster. Uh, so we'll see
you
who
know, I
joins.
was
It's just the Pop Tart. It's literally just the Pop Tart.
I would have said something when my name was said, but like immediately after Cass said Tris, Lumi, you like died. Are you okay?
Like,
Like you keep going like
I keep,
uh,
I keep chewing on non-edible objects.
Why?
Example number one is a bed sheet. I'm just lying down here in a really strange pose. It's like all my bones should be broken, but they're not. It's like, how does that work?
SpongeBob.
I am perplexed.
Oh, look, guys, my counterpart.
Nice.
He's online right now.
As for other topics, we've also got Tris talking about LSDJ, which I'm excited about, and
Come
the
on, Tris,
Chip
don't
Win
shut down.
names just got dropped. Everybody, all the people who are contributing to Chip Win. So
I
I don't
feel
know if
like
we
I
want to talk about that, but
contributed,
that's something to
but
talk
I,
about.
I feel like I should have
What
contributed.
the Chip Win album?
Well, yeah, they just dropped all the people who are going to be in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, like
Okay.
you cut out for like a second on my end, and it happened to be when you said Chip Win, so I had to use context clues.
Context clues. And I don't know if we want to talk about the whole new club system. Just do you really understand how that works, or
I unfortunately was not really available when it was like
Ow!
being birthed.
My
right?
foot!
So like again, your foot. Lumi, are you okay?
No, I fell while I was not standing, and somehow and I hurt my foot.
Oh no.
Don't ask
Oh
questions, 'cause
dear.
I don't know either.
Okay.
This is just us being very concerned for Lumi today.
No,
Yeah.
don't be concerned. Weird things happen all the time.
Hmm.
A lot of people, friends or
Um.
not, define it as normal. Like
Okay.
they could see me walking around balancing an egg on my head while I don't know wearing battle armor. And they're gonna be like, "Yep, that's Chris." And I'm just gonna be like, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
Oh
Fair
yeah.
I have
enough.
no
You
idea
may
how.
or may not know this, but the Minecraft chat has been crazy. Which has just been
I
a
Has
did
little
not know
strange.
that, but it also doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's sort of like the most active part of the server, which I feel really weird about because or a chiptune server. Um,
you got Minecraft like all the cool kids.
yeah, but oh well. But yeah, just for context, the club system is essentially interest. I guess this helps everybody but you. I'm sorry. Um, you get to. Uh, I'm planning to put in a self role assigned, but essentially based off of the roles that you want, you can be part of the chats that you want to be a part of and not
Oh,
be part of the others. Um, which means that if you're like new to the server or if you don't want to commit to very much, it can just literally be like the studio chat. And then
yeah,
if you want to be like super involved, you can be a part of all these clubs. And then the
that sounds
chiptune
like
thing is enormous.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Um,
Um. Yeah, the reason I didn't really, I wasn't around for that is because I was at work, and I have a fun work story to tell everyone.
whew, just
I
as
feel like
fun work
you
stories
always
are
have
always
fun.
fun.
Like Tris, seeing how your Twitter is, I feel like you 24/7 have something to say.
Yeah.
There's
Um.
so many tweets, and they
So
all radiate a different level of chaos. And I'm just sitting here like, I feel like I don't know what. So I'm just like,
yeah. So
button. It's fuck away.
for those who don't know, I work with kids. I've been working as like a preschool teacher substitute for the last few months.
It's pretty.
That is actually not the story I was going to tell, ZJ. ZJ brought up the fact that I was attacked by a kid a couple times.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it wasn't like malicious. He was just like really upset. And like was kind of doing the like arm windmill thing. Um,
Arm what?
it was just like
Can you run that by
arm
again, please?
windmill.
vibration.
So like swinging arms in a circular motion, like up and down.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
that it?
basically.
For
Yeah.
some reason, what I
Yeah.
was imagining was the kid spinning his arms really fast and flying away like a helicopter. And that
No, not quite like that.
Or just using one
Um,
arm and like doing
But
an
at
air
least
blast
I
at you,
kids because they were
like a
upset.
fan.
Like I got harassed by like 5-year-olds for pure amusement. Back when I go to this place before school called the youth center, where they would mix in a bunch of kids. Like I'm talking like I was in middle school and they put me in the same room as a bunch of first graders, and they would walk up to me and just be like, "Hey, hey, hey!" I'm like, "What?" And they're just like, "Ah!" And they just walk away.
Oh.
Yeah, kids are strange
Why
like
I
that.
made fun of so much. I'm so glad that I got out of there.
Is there
But
more to this story,
darn.
Tris?
Oh yeah. That wasn't the story I was gonna tell. ZJ just brought it up.
Out of the
Yeah, so I mean it was fine. He just wanted basically he just wanted a hug, but he was also really upset, so it
you
was a
wanted
very
a
painful
violent
hug.
like a real man.
Like hugging a cactus. But or a hedgehog.
The viewers have please don't
Um,
hug a cactus. It may look friendly, but
yeah.
it certainly doesn't feel that way. I can tell that
Yeah.
from personal experience. When I once bumped into a cactus and apologized profusely. I was like, oh sorry, and then I stopped. I was like, I just apologized to a cactus.
Jeez.
And it was also painful because like it made my back super itchy for the next 3 days.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, somehow that's worse than being painful.
Yeah. So quick work story.
Ooh.
So like the kids have like, dress up stuff. There's like a stethoscope and
No,
like
this is gonna
different
be a
like
good one.
like dresses and like police hats and firefighter jackets and whatnot. And they happen to have this dress that I thought was super cute. Um, and so this little girl is like, "Oh, can you help with this dress on? Like we're gonna have a wedding." And I was just like, "Oh, that's cute." But then this little boy came along,
Sorry,
and
just the way you said that.
yeah, I mean, I get a little bit weirded out when like little kids are like talking about like romantic stuff because I'm like,
Yeah,
you're 4.
understandably.
I have
Um,
a vivid memory of these two kids, and like they both kissed each other, and they were obviously not related. And like me and these two other more in my age range kind of kids kind of sat there giving this look and just purely read, what?
So Tris, there's more.
yes. So this little boy comes up and is like, "Ooh, I want to wear the dress," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, you wear that dress." Um, but this girl is just like, "No, boys don't wear dresses," and I'm just like, "Honey."
It's like,
So like fast forward a little bit later and like there's more free time for them to play and the little boy remembers and is like, "Yeah, I want to wear the dress." So he comes and asks me to help him put it on and I'm like, "Of course I'll help you put on the dress." And she's like super pissed off, not because she didn't want it because she wanted it, but because he was a boy wearing a dress. And I was just like, "Boys can wear dresses." And she's like, "No, they can't." And eventually I was just like, "Well, he's wearing the dress. It doesn't affect you. Like he's having a good time. I'm just gonna let you
it's
like
just you should just like walk in
Yeah.
another day
feel
with
that."
that same kid like dressed in like overalls and a farmer hat and just be like, "What's the matter? You angry? Does something matter?"
I get really weirded out by how dramatic some people get. Although this is a kid, so
Yeah,
they get dramatic. I'm just
yeah. And the thing about it is like it's sad because like she's socialized to believe that boys can't wear dresses, and it's not her fault. I thought it was funny that she like got mad and literally cried about it. Um, but I did my best to like have it be a teachable moment, and I think eventually she kind of got the idea is like, oh well, I mean, I can cry about it, but he's not going to take the dress off and like teacher's not going to make him take the dress off. So, oh well, I guess.
Such
And
as
she
a
like didn't hold a grudge with me either, because by the end of the day, she like it was really sweet. She gave me a hug when she was leaving, and I was like, "Oh,
Tris,
Oh,
you cut off.
Tris.
Yeah, you
Yep,
cut off
you're
in the,
back.
in the tiny little last bit there.
oh." I just said that like it was really sweet because at the end of the day, even though she was mad at me for a second, she said like she gave me a hug and when she was leaving, and I thought that was sweet.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. This whole time I've just been thinking of like a time recently in high school where this like 11th grader, I think, was like screaming about how like boys can't like do their nails or not like all these like different other things, and
Mm,
people get dramatic.
they really do.
And that
Ooh,
just
is that a bros box I hear?
I heard. Yeah.
is that a box?
Oh,
Hello.
Challenger's approaching.
Bros.
Yes. Hello. So I'm trying to adjust right now.
Is the bros.
Yeah, I just got out of the shower.
Welcome.
Here. I don't know if anybody wanted to know that detail. I'm sorry.
It's
You
too
made-
late now.
Man, you missed some funny stuff, dude.
What did I miss?
Something about a kid. I don't know. I was zoning out trying to choke in a pizza roll.
What?
At least it's an edible thing that you're choking on this time.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's certainly an improvement, but it's still not going to save my life anymore. So anyway, moving on. What else we got to talk about?
Cass, do you want to talk about your NES?
Oh, well, I don't have that much to talk about. I basically like this entire what was it like this Tuesday? Maybe I like ordered a bunch of different stuff from a bunch of different things, basically with your guidance so that I could set up the NES to play live music on it. And the last thing just came today, the Power Pack. So if what you said was correct, I am now capable of uploading and playing music on my NES, and I'm excited about that.
Yay!
Yay!
I think we're doing a good job with this talk show so far because I have a half feeling that nobody's actually laughing at the things I said.
I'm sorry. Disappointed you.
Oh no.
But I mean, like I considered maybe you trying to help me set up on stream, but I'm also like worried that won't work out. So maybe we should just do it like off stream.
Oh, like setting up your NES?
Yeah.
That probably would have been helpful if it was up on screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, is that a bug in here? I swear to God, this place.
If you wanna describe like a one-on-one summary
Sticker
of
of the letter F just stuck onto this cabinet. I don't know why
There
it's
goes
there or what
Ruby.
it's doing. What is this? The letter F?
Oh dear.
I feel cursed now.
F
F.
There's another one. There's a letter D.
D
Why are there letters on there? What purpose do
D.
they serve?
Rip.
Letter E.
There's a message.
I think I'm supposed to spell these out like some sort of puzzle survival horror game.
Is the next letter S? I think I know what it's trying to tell you.
Hold on, let me try to figure out what the joke is. I don't get it.
I'm like, yeah, I was 90% confident you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
It's a I don't even know like if I want to say this out loud. It's a
Oh
do, I'm
it's
no.
no, it's just an NES expansion.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I just,
the FDS,
The
the
FDS.
Famicom Disk System.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody has even bothered to change my mind on the fact that EQ stands for egg
hello
quesadilla.
TSG.
Egg quesadilla.
Egg quesadilla?
You know,
Egg
I
quesadilla.
appreciate that. I
It's
love
the truth. The
quesadillas. I need to have more of those.
I eat those very often. I'm a Mexican, so
Same.
that...
Same.
I
I'm a
my
Mexican, but
High
on my
fives in
dad's side,
Spanish.
so most of my memories are of him making me quesadillas.
my my entire diet consists of chicken nuggets and cake.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't have
Nice.
very much to share about my NES
how I
except that
got
I'm
my
just happy that I
cake.
have all of this stuff and I want to make music with it. Um, but Tris, you wanted to talk about LSDJ?
Yeah, so
What's
I
that?
have been.
What's LSCJ mean?
Well,
Uh,
LSDJ stands for Little Sound DJ, and it is one of the most popular ways to make chiptune on Game Boy.
That was cool.
really?
Once again, another thing that I should have known about when I came here, but I didn't. 'Cause,
That's
yes.
oh,
okay.
toaster pastries.
Oh,
Okay,
Toaster Pages is here.
you can
Oh, what
join.
up?
Everybody,
Tris,
welcome our new
maybe
guest. The
you're better to
great
explain what a
deal of
Game Boy
Pop
is
Tarts
because I
has
never
arrived.
used the original Game Boy. So
Oh my god, wait, how old are you, Lumi?
I'm like 14. Don't tell
You're sorry, what?
don't tell the
14.
other people.
14.
And before you ask me
Oh
who you are, you're
dear.
not supposed to know.
Wow,
Don't
so you
yeah.
really don't know what a Game Boy is. Well,
Oh,
I mean, I assume you know what like a DS is, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
a
always thought
3DS.
it'd be like when I was born, it would be kind of a modernish thing. But then I was like, but then I saw it, I was like, dude, this thing is like more than 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Kind of realized
Well,
that 14 isn't that old.
When
My
did
my grandma
the Game
had
Boy come out? Was it like early 90s?
I think it came out late 80s, like the first
Oh,
one.
yeah,
yeah.
like
Um,
89 or something
It's
like
like
that.
I don't know if this is
yeah.
correct, but I heard it was like 30 or something. Maybe 20.
Anyways,
Somewhere between 30
I
and 10.
I'm 20 now. My birthday was this week, I think.
or
Yeah,
you're
yeah, you.
20?
Happy birthday,
Yay!
Cass!
Hi.
Happy
Oh,
Yeah, happy
birthday!
birthday.
Thank you.
I'm almost 20.
Sorry that the gift I
Anyways,
gave you wasn't very good, but I had literally nothing else.
anyways, the Game Boy came
Oh,
out
you youngins.
significantly before I was born. So I've also never used it, but I have used
Oh my god.
the Game Boy that came after. Not the same thing at all. What was it?
What, like the Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, I think that was it. I played a was it the
I
second
didn't
generation
toast your joy.
Pokemon
I
there?
thought you said
The
you
one
could.
with the earth and the water um
Right.
Groudon, what were they?
Oh, the legendary Pokemon, Groudon and Kyogre.
Yeah, those.
Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Ow.
so I've never used like a straight up Game Boy.
I've
Huh.
used one. I've used the Game Boy Color though.
The closest I've come is playing the first Kirby's Dream Land on my DS.
I love
And
Kirby Dreamland.
I didn't get to play it that much because I forgot how to start the game. Apparently, you had to
Oh.
press the. Because,
Little
see,
default.
understand this. My tiny little brain at the time could not process that it was the start button to open the game and not the A button. So I was like, oh, what? I had to get my dad to do it.
Ah.
I don't know why I asked him. He ain't no shit.
Oh yeah,
when
when I was tiny and I first got my DS, I would play a lot of Pokemon Diamond, but I didn't know what the save button did, so I just didn't use it, and I just I got through like the first two gym leaders like over and over again,
Oh,
but
no.
like didn't actually get that far into the story for a while, and then later I beat it, so that was fun. But
Yeah.
most
I
of
wish
my time
people
playing that game was
like
just me playing the first like couple hours.
Oh my god. Well, that at least you could save games at that point.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna get up on my like old soapbox and be like, I
Oh,
remember
wait, you're
playing.
a toaster. Okay.
Hey, I remember playing Super Mario Brothers 3 with my brother, and it is so long and it's so grueling to get through. And then like the dog bumped the NES. and it froze.
No!
And like all progress gone, and we just sat there like our mouths open, just like it's
I
just like
know everybody at the same time like realizes the pure pain and goes like, no.
because that was one of them that didn't have like passwords or anything like that to help you
No,
get
I
back
didn't.
there,
Mhm.
and that World 8 was so hard
Oh,
that
Yeah.
it was heartbreaking.
Aw.
you know,
Honestly, I'm like
one.
crying right now.
You know,
Just like
one game
the
I really-
one tear coming down.
Yeah.
Pouring out for baby pastries.
I still have that same NES and that same copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 with a piece of tape on the back with me and my brother's name on it.
That'll
Oh,
be quick.
that's so wholesome.
Yeah.
The oldest thing
Yeah,
I have is a DS that I had from when I was like, I don't know, somewhere around 10, and I snapped it in half and I was fucking around with it. So now I've just got both pieces of the DS just sitting in a drawer with little
Damn.
Super
Oh
Mario
no.
Galaxy stickers on it.
Well, you've seen people are making the
Every
like
once in a
neon
while, I'll-
advance.
Every once in a while, I'll go through. I would go through looking for a stylus for my Wii U because I lost it again, and if I lost it, I definitely don't mean swallowing it. I totally swallowed it, and I'd see the little DS there and be like, "Man, why wasn't I sad about that?" I just like I looked at my dad and just went, "Something happened." Like I wasn't even upset. Like young me was just immune to all forms of hatred, but then I stopped over the time. It's okay.
I never owned an NES growing up, but I did inherit a Super Nintendo from my cousins, and I just have this one memory of like we were playing Chrono Trigger, which is still like one of, if not my favorite game of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I put that name.
And like
It is.
I was playing actually with my cousins, and like we had made quite a bit of progress, but you know their wireless controllers weren't a thing at the time, and somebody was like trying to step over the controller,
Oh
Oh,
no.
but
I know where it's going.
didn't quite make it, and like we hadn't saved in like at least an hour, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
That's not quite as bad as like World 8 Mario 3, but like
Yeah.
yeah.
But
No.
especially like it's the dog. You can't even like be mad at the dog. You're like, oh, you asshole dog. like,
Yeah.
I remember this.
Really
There
find
was like a chord protocol. It's like everybody like controllers down so that like the person could go by. We had a like
Yeah.
once it happens to you once, you have like a whole protocol from preventing this from ever happening
Mhm.
again.
We always, that's always
Yeah.
been a thing.
I gave up playing Pokemon Pokemon Let's Go Eevee because I forgot to save when I beat the first tournament. I was like, you know what? No, I'm not putting up with this, and I just went.
I thought you save automatically.
I also promised to stream Pokemon Rumble Rush, I think it's called. Yeah. And I still haven't because I don't want to because it looks like an utter just dumpster fire, but you know.
I've only ever played one Pokemon game. Somebody
Which
lent
one?
me a copy of Yellow,
Ooh.
and while I was actually on a train trip from Utah to California and just had a lot of time. Like I tried, damn it, I tried. I got to like the SS Anne, and I just couldn't care anymore.
Mm,
My
I feel
favorite
that.
Pokemon game of
Sometimes
all
I
time
like
isn't
have
even
trouble
like an
getting through
actual
Pokemon games.
Pokemon styled game. It's Pokepark 2. Because I like resonated with that game when I was a kid. That game just touched my soul.
Honestly, my favorite Pokemon game is not even. It's like basically a reskin of oh, what's it called? It's like it's Yoshi something.
Wait, it's a reskin of Yoshi?
No. It's a reskin of Tetris Attack, which
Oh.
originally featured Yoshi.
Yoshi's
But-
Cookie.
Yoshi's good.
Yeah, Yoshi's Cookie is really hard.
I remember being a kid and being like, what? What is this? What is this supposed to mean? I was watching videos.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't have the guts to play it.
Yeah. Shout out to Pokemon Puzzle League. I still play that game sometimes. It's really
No, don't that you don't do that.
yeah, Panel
you
to
just
Pond,
gave-
exactly.
You just gave me a flashback to what was it called, Puzzle and Dragons. I haven't played the game in forever, but for some
Oh my
reason,
god.
That's
I had several friends who were like severely addicted to that game.
I
I
remember
would
one
say
other.
once just deleted and restarted a bunch of times trying to use the default castle. You get to get a really cool monster, and I would be like, I got a good one, and I forgot to save my game.
What
There's
was that,
the thing-
Toaster?
I don't think
I
it is.
remember one. I lied. I have played one other Pokemon game.
Oh.
What
Tell
is
us.
Like I think
Tell
I was
us.
like I was staying at a relative's house, and they
Huh?
only like there was so few games. I ended up playing like Pokemon Snap on N64, and I'm like, what the
What is
hell?
wrong with
Pokemon Snap?
Never
Pokemon
heard of it,
Snap.
Jazz?
It's like you ride around on rails taking pictures of Pokemon.
What's wrong
Oh,
with that? That's like that.
Yeah,
one
that game.
We'll have to
I never
go.
played that, but yeah.
And I had no context for what any of these Pokemon were or what I was doing
Oh.
and all that stuff. And so it was,
Look,
there was literally like
Mouse Man.
the only other game was something I didn't really care about either. So it was like I played this for like 4 hours, just like what am I doing?
Taking pictures of these like strange shapes.
Polygons.
Yeah.
This
Bunch
one
of
looks
polygons.
like. Well, I don't even know what it looks like. I miss Pokemon Park 2, man. I wish they'd make a third one, but I know they're not really playing on it because the franchise is died too.
ZJ seems to really like Pokemon Snap. Also, TST.
CJ does seem to like Pokemon Snap.
Best game. By Zero G.
TST brought up Pokemon Stadium, and I feel like that would have been a really good one to play with your relatives,
Oh, I
Toaster.
played that.
Because it's basically Mario Party, but like with Pokemon.
Yeah.
I hate my family so much that I never even
And
talk to
Pokemon
them
battles.
because I'm just such an introvert to everybody. I just kind of sit here, I'm like, because I always get dragged out of the house to do stuff. Like if I wanted to play something with my own family member, then I would have, but I didn't want to, so I didn't. Because I know know what I want, and I act upon that like a smart person.
Play portable
Good.
games. That's the most introverted thing you can do. It's all by
Yeah.
yourself. It's contained.
I feel like
I was told
we
by
always
my
find our way
doctor,
back to Pokemon
somebody who was
somehow.
only 14. I had a lot of wisdom,
Always
Yeah.
Pokemon.
and I took that compliment personally.
Man.
But
It was actually like, so I was a kid at the perfect, like the height of Pokemania. Like,
Mhm.
I kind of like my memory came online in like 1996, 97, which is like when it started. And
your memory came
I
online. What?
like, yeah, I have this.
Internet?
I know what you mean.
I know exactly what you mean. It's just I've never heard it said that way, and that's
Yeah.
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
just how I say it. But yeah, like I was super like Poke fan, and like years later, like literally like 20 years later, I don't remember how it came up, but I was like talking to my mom one time, and like a more obscure Pokemon came up, like not like Pikachu or one of the, maybe it was one of the starters or something, but like she knew which Pokemon it was and like knew about it, and I
Whoa.
was
Oh my
just like,
god.
that's so sweet. Like I was like, oh, I love my mom.
Yeah.
Most my mom does is play Minecraft with me. She's good at that, but
Your mom's good at Minecraft?
yeah, but she's also
Wow.
really into Stardew Valley right now.
Oh my god.
Aw.
Kind of funny. Like, I remember like my mom tried to play games once, and she just like thought it was just way too stressful and was like not down with it at all. And ever since then, that like
Is there a game that like can't be stressful?
My parents like Wii Sports.
Wii Sports is
Oh, I
fun.
miss Wii
Every-
Sports. Nah.
mine probably would
Wii
now.
Sports
But
Resort with the planes, the
Yeah.
zoom, and you collect the little I letters.
Actually, I'm talking about the earlier ones because when I had my parents
still,
try and play the Wii Resort with the planes, they were like, no. They were like, this is too complicated.
we just want to fall.
There's 360 direction. You can move up and down and change direction, and I
too
can't
much.
play this game with you. Like,
I love
So
that.
like
We
they
just
said
want
it
to
like it
bowl.
was unfair for me to like pick that game because like you can go in any direction.
Yeah, like the bowling is the most common ground that you can find with anybody. You can get
Yeah,
anybody
pretty much.
They really
to.
like the tennis one because all you have to do is swing the remote.
In 100-pin bowling.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah,
like
tennis is
hit
another
I
good
multiple
did
one.
that, and
buttons.
I just turned to my dad and just went, beat that. And then he got 2 strikes. And I felt like a loser.
Oh.
Then I got
Yeah,
back.
the other games that my family played, or like my like adult family at the time. My grandma and mom were both like really into Bust a Move, aka like Puzzle Bobble.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know what either of
Bust
those
a Move is
things
classic.
not in my head.
Yeah, we had that on N64, and like we would play it all the time. And actually, Pokemon Puzzle League, the like Panel Upon / Tetris Attack reskin, like my grandma would play it with me and my brother all the time. So like those games have like a massive place in my.
I don't know if my grandmother ever played a video game.
I
I don't think
I
she.
know mine as she played computer solitaire like all the cool
Yeah.
kids.
played computer solitaire all the time before I had the internet. Like I would just like listen to like Blink 182 and like System of a Down on repeat while playing solitaire. And like doodling an MS.
I'm remembering now. There's a point in time where like,
I think
Minesweeper, speed
Yeah,
running
that's the boy,
Minesweeper was a thing.
Luigi.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, CJ's mom has really good taste in video games, apparently.
Wait, what? Let me check this chat out.
They said
Ocarina of
that.
Time,
Your
Yeah.
guys' doesn't.
GoldenEye, Paper Mario. Darn.
Yeah, she likes the classics.
Oh yeah,
Those are good.
GoldenEye. Wait, is GoldenEye like a 007 thing?
Yeah,
What?
it is.
What?
It
Are
was
you
the
kidding
That's
me?
awesome.
Nintendo
Are you
64
kidding
one.
me? Like, GoldenEye was life. Dude, y'all are
heard
killing me.
It literally came out before they were born.
Am I like?
Oh
am
no
I
no
kidding
no!
you?
I played it. I just
I played GoldenEye. I played
I
GoldenEye.
was like, wait a sec, is that the actual like?
The only thing
Because
I've
it's
seen
ZJ's mom,
is Microsoft's corruption.
and I was a little surprised. Looks like
Playing
MCL wants to
GTA
join.
5 with all the
Uh,
preschoolers.
Not ignoring you, TST.
Oh god, preschoolers should not go anywhere near GTA.
Please, man.
I'm 14 and my parents won't even let me talk about it.
Hey,
Bro, all
Well,
I was
hello.
Hey,
doing is
Luigi.
just
I will
looking
now
at-
display the screen
Oh,
to
Yeah, right,
show all the
Luigi said
people. We've got 6 people in this chat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
what's up, Luigi?
Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi,
What up?
Luigi.
Welcome to the Cool Kids Club.
Luigi.
We talk about solitaire
Ah,
and really old games that nobody remembers.
well, I've come here
I
to
mean,
talk
clearly not nobody remembers.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably not that everybody remembers. We need to talk more about the games that nobody remembers. Kind of like, you know what? I don't know a lot, but I know there was one.
Oh
that
yeah,
I held.
speaking of parents and games, I've been playing a lot of D&D with my dad recently.
Oh.
I love playing that game, at least my own version.
Dude, I've never
I don't.
played.
I've
never
well, I mean,
played
I've only
D&D.
done
What
that
is that? I wanna
twice
know.
as of recent. But like, if you don't know, this is like a dad who I don't really talk to. So it's really nice to start playing
don't
D&D
talk
with
much.
him every week or so. So that's just like a sweet bonding time.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, I've come here to talk about nostalgia games that I have grown up playing.
Oh, hello.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Though,
Yeah.
nowhere
Well-
clearly as nostalgic as the games you guys played, so yeah.
No, I clapped really hard and hurt myself.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are those games?
Well, I've played mostly Wii games when I was a kid.
Me too.
Oh.
Me too, buddy.
The main one was Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Okay, those
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I
Those-
have really fond memories of the first one.
I prefer the first one more.
I prefer second.
Same. I like honestly, it's because Rosalina's really pretty, and the like fat Luma is like not.
Yeah.
Feed me is basically what he's saying.
Like I also like compared to the like the observatory was also gorgeous, and
Yeah.
then you're just riding around on a planet that looks like Mario's head. Like it was a big downgrade for.
I'm actually not entirely sure if I like more Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. Because, I mean, like, I like the characters in Galaxy 1, but I like the galaxies in Galaxy 2 more.
Well,
Maybe I played Galaxy 2 first, and I was like, who are you people? And then
Wait, I was looking at like
still
server
don't
stuff.
understand.
Are we talking about Mario Galaxy?
yes.
We're talking about Mario
Yes.
Galaxy.
I loved Mario Galaxy.
So
Who doesn't love
basically,
Mario?
That was
Tell
my
me
favorite
one
game.
person who loved Mario.
my nostalgic story right here is I've for the longest time when I was a kid, I was stuck on Mega Leg for like a year.
I was terrified of both Mega Leg and Kingpin when I was a kid.
But you gotta agree with me. Mega Leg battle music was literally the best one
It
ever.
was fire, dude. He slaps.
Slaps.
But the most nostalgic song that I always get goosebumps was Bluey Base Galaxy.
Of course, yeah, it's really iconic.
Yes, literally,
Definitely.
I made a remix on it because it was so
I know.
good.
You make
Tress, I have to ask, do you have some sort of beef with Rosalina? Because I remember watching a stream, and like you were like changing into the different princesses, and you were like, Rosalina, ew. And then I was like, no.
Wait,
No,
what?
Rosalina.
What stream? What was I playing?
I don't know. You were playing a
I
game,
was
and you were
playing Mario Maker, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Mario Maker.
Mario Maker 1?
So what's up with
Yeah.
that, Tress?
No, I actually. So the thing is, look, listen.
Look, listen.
I love Rosalina. Like, I loved her at least.
You loved her? Okay.
You know, we have a complex relationship.
Oh boy.
When I first played Super Mario Galaxy, I was like a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wonderful. I played it during like finals week, because I like my freshman year was ridiculously easy. It was long story. Basically, I had a lot of free time, and it was like December. It was cold. It was rainy. My birthday was like around that time. It was just a really good time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful music and the beautiful princess, Rosalina was awesome.
Yeah.
However,
However,
I think
where's this getting?
the reason
whoa,
that I
watch it.
was like, oh, Rosalina, was because the other options were like Peach or Daisy
Mm-hmm.
or something.
I don't like either of them.
Or something cool. Like it was something else that I was more excited to be. It wasn't that I don't like Rosalina. But it was that I was more excited to be the other things, and like I didn't want to be Rosalina in that context. But Rosalina is really cool. And like I almost want to main her in Smash, but like our playstyle doesn't quite line up. So yeah.
I think you put up an adequate defense.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm the only person in the world who would definitely want Spyro to get into Smash, but nobody else has talked about it.
Tetris blocks for Smash.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah, I saw that
so
post.
cool.
Do.
Wait, what was the Tetris blocks names? There was something that went around Twitter.
Tetrobino.
No, it's
Where-
Tetraminos, like Dominoes and Tetris.
No, they have
Yeah,
individual
Tetraminos.
names. Let me find the thing.
Oh.
Wait, so
Jeremy!
like, do you mean like
They're
Pac-Man? How each
Jeremy!
like ghost has an individual name?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Each
yeah.
of the blocks. Oh, nice.
Okay, incoming picture.
Indeed, I do live for tonight, ZJ.
All right.
Wow,
you,
that
you
was
got
a fail.
that fast.
That link.
Oh my god!
All right, allow me to.
Orange Ricky, Blue Ricky, Cleveland Z, Roland Z, Hero, Kiwi, Smash Boy.
Smash Boy.
Smash Boy.
Rhode Island Z. What?
Who named
What does that
these?
even mean?
It's shaped like Rhode Island. I don't know.
You know what? Like when high school
Oh my
stuff-
god.
Wait,
it's shaped like
I'm
Rhode
gonna-
Island? What does that
It's-
mean?
No. Something
Well, Rhode
said
Island is
Rhode
the state?
Island.
Oh yeah, but okay, let me
Fucking said
check this
Domino
out.
named after it.
Images.
Rhode Island
Which
Z.
is out from Rhode Island. So he's like, oh,
It's a bit of a
Orange
stretch.
and blue Ricky.
It is a bit of a stretch.
I
Alright.
love it. Oh my god.
No.
I'm calling that. I'm calling them whenever I play Tetris.
Huge regret
Ask-
not choosing Smash Boy for a chiptune name.
Smash.
But I didn't know.
that is a stretch, all right.
I sure do not regret not choosing Smash Boy for a name.
Yeah, same. But Cass, can you share that image or
I
like
have.
put it on screen so people can see?
I am putting it on screen.
Thank you
It's
for
horrible.
blessing this knowledge.
I believe.
Yeah, that was glorious. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Oh, everybody laughed at that. That's just
Tiwi.
your moment to take.
That
I don't
is.
see Rhode Island in this, but alright.
Yeah.
It's very abstract. It's a very abstract
Just
concept.
like Orange Ricky and Blue Ricky.
Where's the orange Ricky though? I only see the blue.
Orange Ricky's top left.
Dude.
No.
So
I
anyways,
don't see him.
so- I'm gonna go move on back to what Galaxy stuff.
No. Let's talk about Rhode Island Z.
Oh no,
Let's talk about the one named Tiwi.
Tiwi.
That's that sounds
Tiwi?
like something 5-year-old
Tiwi.
me would laugh at.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
Tiwi.
It's got the funny name.
What was that?
I don't
I
know.
don't
My
know.
voice cracked a lot. I used to be able to do a really good impression of Toad, but then I like aged.
Ow!
Then the
My-
testosterone did the thing.
You okay there? It sounds like somebody exploded on the other end. Please stop.
Oh, hey, Cass, I wanted to ask you about something.
Oh, what's up?
Have you checked out the progressions I sent you?
No,
Japanese-
but I have seen the video. I saw the video in the past. I just
Yeah,
didn't like note down the progressions. But I saw them and I haven't tried them out, so I don't really know what they sound like yet. But I'm excited.
They'll sound like anime. They'll sound like...
I have a friend who is like they studied like linguistics in college, and they also are half Japanese, and they were like Japanese music, especially like rock and like anime music, just has this like cadence to it, and it's like very distinguishable. And I kind of agree as a musician.
Yeah, there's this really slick production value to all of it too.
Mhm.
I have
Really
no idea
tell.
what any of this means.
Absolutely.
Same here.
One day.
Words of approval.
One
I'm just like,
day.
it's kind of weird because like I'm basically like close enough to be a musician, but I don't know anything about music and all. I just kind of be like, hey, look, I make.
Hey, look! I placed notes.
How to leave.
Hey, look, guys! I placed notes. Did I do good? That's basically what you mean, right?
I can't.
Mm.
What are you doing?
Before we get too far off the topic, I'm like curious as to how everyone came up with their names.
So,
Oh,
Smash.
don't get me started.
And I can only imagine. I can only imagine like the Smash Bros. Announcer reading these off like Orange Ricky, Blue Ricky, Cleveland Z, Rhode Island Z, Hero Teams.
Wait, are we talking about the Tetris names or how
we're talking
we
about
came
our
up with
names.
our names?
Mine just
Well,
can't.
no,
talk.
because like Toaster Pastry was like, I regret not picking Smash Boy as my name, and that made me actually wonder like, how did you become Toaster Pastry, and how did
Oh my
Brosbox
God.
become Brosbox?
What's wrong
Okay.
with the toaster pastry?
Do I do the short version
No.
or the long version?
The stream's
Long
been
version.
on.
I agree. No,
Okay, here's where
director's cut, unedited.
here's where I severely date myself. Let's see. I developed this really funny reputation. It's like, so I was in the army. I was in the army from 2003 to 2007, and I went on deployment during that time. And since we were away from, I went out into the outside of the wire, as it were, like super often. I would go to the like chow hall beforehand and just hoard snacks, because would be out we would be out so long that it's like nobody truthfully nobody wants to eat an MRE. Nobody. So
Right.
I had a like separate ammo pouch specifically for snacks, and I developed this reputation for like I would always have Pop-Tarts because they're perfect, because you can just open them and eat them like
It
it's
seems
the
like
easiest.
you don't know about Hershey's bites.
Wait,
Well,
wait,
Oh, sorry.
Toaster.
Let's talk about the desert.
Wait,
Let's talk about.
wait, Toaster. Wait, Toaster, can I make a joke?
Yeah.
So I just imagine like people are shooting at you and they hit you, but instead of seeing blood, they just see a bunch of snacks falling out of your pockets and chest, and they're just like, "What the?"
Oh god!
Shake
Oh
my
god!
head.
No, my Pop Tarts.
I love-
He's like trying to get the Pop Tarts back in before trying to save himself. He's just
So,
like,
yeah.
So what's this about the desert?
Well, I mean, I was
Right.
deployed to Iraq.
Mhm.
That's why I was
Oh.
like carrying around all this stuff. So like chocolate wasn't going anywhere.
All right.
It just go.
So I got this
Were
reputation.
supposed to be cooked.
Me and here's the thing, like when it's like 110 fucking degrees, no matter where you go, they're already cooked.
Well, then your Pop Tarts should be just perfect, handy dandy. Then shouldn't they? I don't see your problem with either of these options, except for the fact that Pop Tarts aren't as good when they're cold.
I
They're
mean, it's kind of one of those take what you can get kind of world.
So,
I doubt you.
are you
Yeah.
still fond of Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, I
No,
barely
man.
eat
I
them.
mean, his profile picture is a Pop-Tart, so
Literally it is.
Yeah.
So, but
I
no,
just
I
mean like beyond the branding.
I started using this as a gaming name. It was just like my gamer tag,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
from there, and then that carried on until later. And then I started making music in Reason. I started doing more electronic music outside of the band that I was in at the time,
Mhm.
and I had all like my gaming friends that I was like, I don't want to just put this stuff out there with my real name on it, so I just used my gaming name. And
Give it away at all.
now it's like 8 years later, and I'm still making music as Toaster Pastries
Hello.
because like
But
I've
any
had
minute.
multiple points where I've thought of changing it, but then I'm just like, I'm not a serious person. I'm not.
Some like grandfather like passing the story down to his kids, like, and there was this one guy, everybody called him the Toaster Man. He
All
brought
right.
us-
Well, now if I ever
Trying
see
to
music
fly
by
the
someone
thing.
named Smash Boy, I'll know who it is.
Exactly.
please don't change your name. I love Toaster
Yeah,
Pastries
that's
as a
true.
name.
That's
Don't
That's
be like
how it
me.
happened.
I
That's
changed
the
mine
director's
3
cut.
times in a row. No, it was 2 times in a row.
I had a Twitter poll like that. It was like my name is either like option 1 was perfect for me, 2 is I've changed it 7 times, or 3 is stupid but it's too late.
Stupid, but it's too late.
I'm really glad that I got all of the
Take a
stupid
raw kid,
like
video game, you don't know
usernames
what you're doing.
out of my system in my teenage.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's good. What are some of the weird ones that y'all came up with?
I was Sanzen at one point.
Sand?
Like Sanzen.
Oh,
That reminds me of
Sanson.
the time that it was somebody's birthday. I can't remember. Or maybe not. I don't know. But all I remember is somebody is telling. Yeah, I remember Luigi helped me organize the Crescent Cat server, and I told everybody to say, "All right, guys, MC, help us organize the server," and then said, "Everybody say thanks, Sans Undertale," and then young Obed came in like, "Thanks, Sans Under my umbrella," like that one song, and I was just like, buddy, don't bring me back to this time. And I was sitting on the bus suffering for just hours.
Rip.
God, the bus rides from school and back were the worst. Like, it's like I
The enthusiasm.
Wow.
A lot of
Wow.
enthusiasm. Yeah.
consistent.
I wish I had that much energy.
The
I
front
don't.
Same.
I used to.
But the back is awful. It's just pure hell.
I always loved the back of the bus.
Same.
Stay away from that. But one of
So-
my friends.
I remember this one,
Bill-
like, sorry, Dar. Sorry, there's this one
Don't call
time.
me Dark. My name anymore.
Dark!
No.
Yeah, speaking of,
Damn it.
you just changed your name to Lumi from like Dark Parasite.
I changed Dark to
Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Wait.
Hey,
Wait.
Beatrice.
You want to run that by me again, there, buddy? Speak up. Who said that?
It
Who
was
said
such a
it's
smooth
you?
transition.
Who didn't know I was Dark Parasite?
Chris.
I did.
I feel pretty
See,
proud
okay,
that
I'm
like
not the
somehow I
only-
figured it out kind of instantly. I don't know how though.
Pixel took a few seconds, and then it was like, "Wait, it's missing. Are you Dark Parasite?" I'm like, "Yes." But
Yes, I am.
I shouted super aggressively, like a military officer, like, "Are you Dark Parasite again?" I'm like, "Yes."
So what inspired the change?
I don't like Dark Parasite anymore.
That's fair.
I like that name.
Because both of them were way too broad of a name. Like Lumalist, you're not going to hear that name anywhere else.
I used to, I think very briefly, I went under a lot of different names. I don't want to share most of them because a lot of them are
Jeffrey.
associated with my dead name. But I was once Mimetic Hysteria.
Wow.
Ooh,
That's
that's
a,
like a super deep Tumblr name.
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I feel like
I was
Cat-
really into like,
One of those super cute type of people just all
I don't know.
together.
I thought it was like two cool words. That was essentially the sum of the
Dude, there
thing.
was a while there where two cool words smashed together was like a naming convention across the board.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
for
much. Hold on.
sure.
My cat scratching
Too
my
cool
door.
for kids, too cool for school, too cool for bros, too cool for everything. I don't give up. There's like a lot of names for that.
I think mostly it was
cool for
because
cat.
I was like really interested in the like
Say hi to my
SCP
cat.
Foundation at the
No,
time,
you would
and like mimetics
not
were a big thing there.
like-
So
Yeah.
What do you want? There's nothing down there.
Most of my old screen names were based off of
Cat.
wolves and like weeb shit.
very
I was so
understandable.
cringy.
Aw. Would you like to share any?
Tell
Um,
us.
No. But if the people want to know, the people want to know, and Tris delivers. So. If and only if the people want to know, I will share.
Do the people
We
want
want
to
to
know?
know. We
Let us
clearly-
know in chat.
Let us know in chat. I got a backstory for my name.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of complicated. So to tell you the truth, this name has different origin names, and it has two origin names. It has not changed since I ever started gaming. Hasn't changed at all. So the idea that the name Bros came from was probably because I was a influential Mario player.
Mhm.
I love Mario, so like Mario Bros. So I always took the Bros because I was like, I had buddies and like, yo, bro, what's up? And like, hey, bro, and I'm like, you Mario, bro? Yeah, Mario, bro. So the Bros kept with me, but I was like, I saw like YouTubers back in the day. You know how old YouTube, like super old YouTube, like in the 2000 like 7 and 8 9. You know what I'm talking about, where they had walkthroughs of like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and there was
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't like Mario.
and then the YouTubers had numbers in their names. So I thought, oh, so if you have numbers in your gamer tag, you look cool. So that's why I added 12749. No reason whatsoever. That name existed throughout my time. So it was Bros 12749. So I had those numbers
like-
throughout my whole lifetime.
Well, did you
I
just
had
smack
those-
the keyboard?
I like how most of them had these things.
Something like that.
I can't decide what my number is gonna be.
Hi guys, my
Yeah, How did you decide on those
And
numbers?
welcome
I just
back.
happened. I was like, what sounds really good? 1, 2, 7, 4. No, it's like okay. I need to measure the angle of the letters I see. 1, and then like 7 is further. Then I have to go back. Then I
What
have
is
to
that
go to.
mean?
Yeah, it was just a lot of measurements. Now my name changed to Brosbox as of late, as of like 2 through 3 years ago or 1 year ago. You know how I appear as Brosbox in the communities and the servers, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, sort of spoiler alert. Cass already knows. I used to beatbox. So
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah,
Ah.
sense.
whoever that is,
yeah,
can you turn down the
so
sound? I can hear you over everything else.
there's two reasons why the box. There's kind of I have to explain the box. So the name I used before was called Aurello because a substitute had a misspelled last name of mine. Like my last name was called Arellano, but it literally was spelled Aurello. And I was like, okay, I'll take that name. The problem was, you know, the YouTuber that popped up was name was Arlo, the YouTuber
Oh yeah,
Arlo.
Arlo.
So
Yeah.
You both
people
happen
call
to like Mario Maker a lot. Sorry.
um people was calling me Arlo instead of the Aurello. So like the E, we pronounce the E. They called me Arlo because it looked like R, like ARE, RU, So
Mhm.
it became that, and I was like, I gave up. I have to switch my name. So I tried Boxley, Levox.
Boxley.
I tried all those names, and I gave up. I said, you know what? Just Bros Box. Just keep it simple. I don't care how generic it is. And then I gave up after that, and that's why Bros Box existed.
All right.
I've had
So
lots
I
of
think it sounds pretty good.
over my lifetime. I have there's about a few that I'm not going to state because they date
Ooh.
back to when I
you
used
met
them
Arlo?
a long time ago, and
People.
I'm basically the king of cringe. I'm surprised that I didn't become an internet meme at that point, but I still look back in that and hate past me for it.
You know, I just remembered for about a month, and Zero Janitor knows this. I released music under the name Psychotic Cass.
That sounds amazing.
I don't know why I came up with that, but that was
Wait, psychotic
very
what?
Psychotic Cass.
Oh.
It's just the dark. It's just the dark evil
Yeah,
version of regular.
it's the dark Cass.
It's the dark.
My
Oh.
It's
dark
kind
side.
of like Dark Meta Knight.
And then my light side is Casserole.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
It's what? Cass what?
Casserole.
Casserole. The
Oh.
pun.
That's so cute! I love it!
I found that online saying about a post about a person who said that if they ever had a kid they were naming Casserole, people would be like, "Oh, Cass is short for Cassandra," and then she goes, "How to explain that their name was actually Cass, short for casserole?" And I showed a Cass like, "Can I call you Casserole now?"
I remember I always call Pixel Pickle sometimes.
Pickle.
Oh, I just thought about it. I was trying to say pixel art, and I was like going to replace the word pixel. I was like, I don't want to say that.
I honestly don't remember. Oh, yeah. I remember picking Cass. I don't really know why I picked Cass, but I do remember using Cass for a lot of, like, characters when I was little, because I made a bunch of stuff. So,
I had a character
that
named
my
Cass.
name now.
Was Cody.
Cool.
Yeah. Who's making
And that's
that
like
sound?
That was me.
your
I'm sorry.
name.
Unfortunately, one time when I had a drawing of that character that I named Cassie, the math teacher saw it and he was like, "Oh, you like," because there's another kid in the class that said, like, "Oh, you like her?" I'm like, no, hold on. I don't.
Oh.
I don't like this person. I actually hate everyone, or at least I did for a while until I ended up having a crush on someone who was lesbian, and that was kind of sad for me. But I supported them anyway.
Oh. Rip. Been there.
I'm sorry to both of you. Oof.
The big gaff is that I turned out to be a lesbian too.
Well,
It's true.
There's a big reveal for us all.
That was like a missed high five there, a little.
Set
I
on
know.
Oh.
Rip.
Bros, when you were talking about how you were almost Boxley, that made me think
straight.
of my
Yeah, Bruce
yeah,
Lee.
my internet, the queen of the internet.
Boxy.
Oh,
I love her so much.
I don't know who that is.
I know what you're talking about now.
Too
Darn it.
young for Boxy.
What a
Wait, so-
tragedy.
What a tragedy.
She's actually kind of like a cool person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I mean, she was on YouTube like for a while under her like actual name, which is Katie.
Yeah.
Like this is like years after Boxy. But she kind of decided that she didn't really want to be a public figure anymore. So like she's not super active, but like I still love her.
Nice.
So, guys,
What is?
well, I don't know what to say.
Oh yeah, I never finished talking about LSDJ.
That is
Oh,
true.
yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, do I bring it back up?
Yeah, we ended up going on like a massive tangent.
From Pokemon.
This is why I'm
Wait.
always like, when people ask me what the topic is going to be, I don't feel right giving an answer just because I never actually know like what we're gonna end up talking about. Even
Yeah.
when we like try to come up with a topic, it like gets
We're-
way off track.
The topic bouncing around like a little DVD screensaver. Every time it hits the corner.
Well, it's about time it hits the corner. So-
Wait. I didn't talk about my name.
Oh,
Yeah. What happened? See what?
Well, go for it. I
Go
think we've
for
talked
it.
about it on the show before, but like, do it.
My original name, because it says MCL, it used to be Mega Crazy Luigi.
I thought it still was Mega Crazy Luigi.
Well, yeah, but I decided to avoid Nintendo's dagger-like eyes and call myself MCL.
Cool,
That's-
short and sweet.
That's
Yeah, you still
that's
call Luigi crazy on Twitter. Might want to watch out about that.
yeah. But that's about it.
Cool.
Unlike all your guys. Great story, huh?
Yeah, that was epic.
telling.
5
Epic.
out of 4 stars.
Epic gamer moment.
Wait, so are you having like a lot of trouble with LSDJ or?
Talk about LSD.
I was at first. Just because it's like it's so different from Family Tracker. Like, I love Family Tracker so much.
I'm
and
learning from
it's just like it's very different from trackers in general. That I've seen. And yet it's like so, just like it's just similar enough to be frustrating. Because it has like almost the exact same layout in terms of like, you know, placing notes on like a vertical frame basically, and like the numbers are in hexadecimal just like in Family Tracker. But like some of the pattern naming conventions aren't the same. Like the you know, phrases and
Oh no.
bless you. What's the word? There's chains.
About chains.
Phrases and chains.
Yeah, chains.
Chains and phrases are global. So like, if you have a chain named 00 and you try and use it in a different channel, it will contain all of the same information. And like that really messes with me because in Family Tracker you can just do that. Like you can have an entire row of 00, and it's fine. Like each channel is
Why
its
do I
own
keep
thing.
trying to eat my fucking blanket?
But that's actually really useful though, because that means like it makes it so much easier to reuse or to like put one phrase into a different chain in like a different context or like transposed or something.
Yeah, like it definitely has its pros and cons. Like, it's useful if you want to do it like that, but I find like I'm really like meticulous about how I set up my Family Tracker tracks at this point. Like, I used to reuse phrases or frames or whatever they're called in Family Tracker, but I found that every time that I like inserted a new frame, it would just default to the first available like empty frame, and so it would just be like a bunch of random numbers, or not random, but like disorganized numbers. And technically, that's the most efficient, like memory-wise way to do it. But since I'm not concerned about memory, like, and I'm not gonna write a song that has like FF frames. Like, I just basically have it so that like at frame 00, like each phrase on every channel is 00. At frame 01, it's just 01 all the way across. And that's basically how I do it. But you can't do that in LSTJ.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I'm still kind of trying to get used to with LSTJ is like, how many phrases should I put in a chain?
That's it. That's a thing. So I have an elaborate, or it's not elaborate. I have an organization scheme that I've been doing like locked in for years because I do almost everything in live mode. And so I ended up having it end up where it's like I switch from song to song, and if I haven't looked at that song in like a month or two, I don't remember what any of the parts are. So I started doing it to where like pulse 1 is 10, pulse 2 is 20, wave is 30, noise is 40, and then those wrap back around to where like 50 is like bridge or like alternate parts in pulse 1 or whatever. That kind of gets murky depending on the song, but I generally start out with it all the same.
Yeah.
And kind of cohesive like that. And so that kind of helps me keep track of like what my parts are for going where, and you know, gives me a better idea of like when I'm looking at the stuff in the song screen, I can have a way better idea of what parts those are and how they fit together and what changed, rather than like if you just go new chain every single time and you do it that way, it's going to be a mess. And I honestly find people who do it with like no kind of organization or whatever, it's just like, this looks so confusing.
Yeah.
I have no idea what any of this means.
There's a lot of nuance to like LSDJ organization, especially if you're trying to use it live and trying to have it be modular to where like you can kind of, in general, what I do is I have a section at the beginning of the song that's in live mode where I'm deliberately choosing how long I want the intro to go or when I want this melody bit to come in. And then maybe the whole middle of the song will just be normal song mode where I just let it play through without touching anything. And then the end, I really often jump back to chains in live mode at the end because I'll use that to get the other Game Boy synced and do as much of a like seamless transition from one song to another as I can.
Oh,
And
wow. That's what you use like your two Game Boys for?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get some of a taste of it in, I don't know if you've ever watched that Trey Frey, like for LSDJ DJ set on there, but yeah, I mean, some of that is him just manually getting the stuff in sync and then transitioning it, you know, DJ style to try to like eliminate as much downtime as possible. And so you kind of have to use the strengths of both. There's live mode that gives you flexibility, then song mode is easy that you can just play and not have to manage it, and then going back to live mode lets you manage the change.
I see.
Okay.
This is making me want to work on my pocket operator now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a totally different perspective. Like, I have made one song on Family Tracker ever, and I wouldn't exactly call it a success.
I want to talk about something. It's related to this a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about trackers. I think Cass knows because I showed Cass my system of how I write before I use a tracker. The three staff system that I talk about is called the NES notation setup I use, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. So, um, what I use is like I have like a three voice system because you only have three voices. Let's say you're only using three voices. As an
Yep.
example, and the first staff is all pulse one. The second staff is all pulse two. The third staff is the triangle pulse, the triangle wave you're working on. Um, and for each one, the first staff, you have a treble clef. The second staff is you can have a treble clef as well, but you can also have it in treble clef, but 8 octave down, like an 8 octave down treble clef. You can have that. And for the triangle, the last one is a bass clef. And in those three, what I just signed is basically okay. I have a melody, the harmony, and my bass, and I can see the outline of my music progression, and I can see everything where everything's at. Uh, the advantage of it is that because I've been studying jazz, and I think this is an addition to this. I realized that since Spammy Tracker kind of works like an instrument as well, your articulations can be actually interpreted because you're looking at a page. Like you can interpret your own articulation in jazz music. So
Yeah.
everything I produce is not exactly that is on the page, but because there might be certain effects I want to go for. So that's what I use for organization. Because in the notation, that's my structure already. I already have all my structure. I just need to put it in.
Yeah, I did that once for I think it's called a game jam where we only had 2 days to make a video game. So essentially I had like 2 days to make a song. And I kind of did that. Instead of using all piano, I did like a piano and then a bass for the triangle because I knew that the triangle sounds different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun to like add articulations after you translate it from sheet music.
Yeah.
And that was really fun to like make something over 2 days, like write it out in one day and then just like NES it up the next one. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
actually done the opposite. Um, I studied music in college, and like there was a point where I had to do like reharmonization for like a Bach chorale.
Yeah.
And I'm not a great piano player. I'm actually not a piano player at all. And by this point, I had been using Family Checker for like 2-ish years, something like that. So like I composed the reharmonization in Family Tracker and then like wrote it out on staff paper.
that's
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah.
I've
So
yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty clever.
Yeah.
This reminds me of so I went
A
to
quick.
I went to college for music also, and
Yeah.
while I was in the middle of that, I I had a really bad skateboarding crash and I broke my
I
shoulder.
don't know.
Oh
Um,
no.
this like it was like I couldn't use the computer, I couldn't play guitar, I couldn't play keyboard, I couldn't do anything. So this is kind of where I had heard of LSDJ and was kind of interested in it. So, but this is where I like actually took off with it because it was the only thing I could do. And so I worked out a deal with my professor at the time where I was like turning in like my counterpoint harmony assignments just as LSDJ. I'm like, here's an MP3 of like of two or three voices from LSDJ, and here's my homework. It's
That's really cool.
because I mean it really was. It was all I could do at the time.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty sweet. That's an
Um,
amazing story.
TST has a question that I can actually kind of answer.
Yeah.
So TST asks, why is the triangle almost always used as a base? One of the reasons is that the triangle wave form kind of is the closest approximation that we have on NES to a sine wave, which is kind of like the pure tone. Like if you just Google sine wave or like YouTube sine wave, it's like it's the smoothest sound that you can get. That's one thing, and like that frequency, it can kind of be harsh in the higher registers, but like in bass, it really comes through nicely. And then the other thing is that on the NES, it's really like you can't control the volume of the triangle channel. So for me, like my high school like band teacher imparted this pyramid of sound like idea on me, and that's that like the higher frequency you're working with, the quieter generally you want it to be compared to the lower frequencies, because the higher frequencies are going to cut through. Your ears are very attuned to those, so they don't have to be as loud to match with the lower bass frequencies. So like bass is effectively at full blast on the triangle channel, and then like as you kind of go up on the sonic space, I kind of try to balance my my other channels to that. So that is another reason personally that I like to use it for bass more so than the like leads or treble instruments, because it, like I said, it can kind of be harsh, and you can't make it quieter, so it's just like super loud. That's my 2 cents on it.
You can use it for melody, but that's like a different approach. It depends
Yeah,
how you go about it.
I've heard a lot of cool melody try files. I know Tris, you've also like occasionally used triangle for melody, and
Yeah,
I think yours
I
is
have done it,
much
and
better.
I think it. Yeah, I think it can be done well. It's just like it's one of the things that I kind of like to do use sparingly because of the reasons that I mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would take the approach that I would go about it would be something like a really cool kind of like a melody bass line that the pulse 2 wave will carry over, but in the lower registers it's like and then the pulse wave comes in and it accompanies that part, and then it'll do a call and response. I think that's like one of the most funnest way to do it.
I also noticed that the triangle can be like a pretty cool sub, at least like when it comes to what the NES can do, which isn't very much. I feel like that's sort of
It
like the
is,
closest thing you can get to that. So if you want
yeah.
like a really low bass, then try works out for that. Um, not
Yeah.
as like an actual sub, but
Break your
something like
sound
that.
chip. Break your sound chip.
Yeah. Also, like I know that a lot of bass instruments have a lot of sustain, and um, the triangle just sort of like allows that sustain to go through because you literally cannot um, make the volume fade out.
I try to cut the
So
sustain as fast. Yeah.
it sounds kind of, compared to some of the higher register instruments, it sounds a little bit more natural as a bass.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah.
Oh yeah, triangle
So
percussion is a thing. We talk about
yeah,
that
Triangle
a lot
I
on
percussion.
this.
love triangle percussion. But as Toaster Pastry was saying, like that's similar to the organization method that I've kind of settled on. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but like the first digit in the chains corresponds to the channel. So like yeah, pulse 1 is 0, pulse 2 is it's like powers of 4 basically, or powers of 2 maybe, I don't know.
Sorry,
um
what are you trying to? Sorry.
for LSDJ,
Oh,
the like the organization, like pulse 1 is like 0x, pulse 2 is 1x, wave is 2x, etc.
Yeah.
And then like once you hit 0f, it jumps up to 4,
Yeah.
and
Mine is
so
the
forth.
same. I use the 0 through 10, and everything below that for like utility rests or like kills or tempo effects or like anything like that.
Oh, for tables?
No, just for like kind of incidental non-note phrases kind of things.
Oh, for phrases or for chains?
I'm not sure. Now I have myself all
sure.
like mixed up.
It's song, chain, phrase, notes.
Yeah.
I don't remember who
And
said
I'm
that
like,
in the chat.
I know what I do, but I don't know how to describe it. Yeah.
Hey peeps, I'm gonna go. I love being part of this. This is fun.
Yeah, happy to have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Good luck with
Have a
Good day.
good evening.
good luck with the rest of the
Whatever
show.
time
Yeah.
is there. Good.
Thank.
Later.
Later, boys.
Later.
Later.
Indeed.
You're still not done yet.
Some of the other stuff that I've been kind of having fun messing around with has been like creating instruments in LSDJ.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Some of my best stuff is just from like pure experimentation of just seeing what the wave channel can do.
I think I saw like a TED talk of maybe was it Danimal Cannon trying to like make some stuff on
Yeah.
LSDJ. It looks really
He did
different
have
from like what you
a
do on
TED
Family
Talk.
Tracker.
I'm gonna TSTXD77. So I had a question on here. What should be given more priority in LSDJ for the wave channel? And is it like better to use it for bass, harmony, or melody, or percussion? So this is the cool thing. If you watch some of Han Perdue's videos on YouTube, as far as like your kick drum and your bass is really what like the ideal thing that should live there. But if you listen to like Defense Mechanism or some other people, they have really, really great lead instruments that come from the wave channel.
Mhm.
But you're always going to do that at the expense of your strongest possible bass. So you kind of have to be ready to compromise. And sometimes that works just fine. Like you can put the bass over in one of the pulse channels and it will carry it okay. Or sometimes like when you do that, the bottom drops out. And so for me, it's kick drum and bass. Those are absolutely its strongest aspects that you just can't get nearly as good in the pulse channels. That said, I mean you can do actually pretty good noise kicks too, just depending on what you're after. If
Yeah. Is it
if I was
common
giving
to
somebody
switch
advice to
between?
start
Sorry.
out with, it would be use it for kick drum and bass, and get used to using faster grooves and using like it's kind of like a higher resolution. Like the cursor is going to burn through phrases faster, but you can get it to do a kick and then switch over to that bass fast enough where people don't even notice. They don't even know that that bass didn't hit at the same time as that kick because it's just fast enough to pull that trick.
Mhm.
And that if there was any like real meat and potatoes like trick for the wave channel, that's it right there. Fitting your kick drum and your bass in there together.
I have no idea what this means, so I think that might be why I suck at music production so much.
What you described, Toaster, like that's something that I picked up from like going through a Dimebag FTM. Not Dimebag, Dimeback.
Yeah. Like totally different person.
Definitely. Yeah, so like he had some really punchy like triangle kicks, and in Family Tracker it's pretty easy to pull that trick where you like have the drum hit and then it goes immediately into like the bass note.
Yeah.
And you can just do that in the instrument channel. And I was trying really hard to figure out how to do that in yeah, I've heard that sorry, I got distracted by chat. I've heard that Dimeback is really a big Tim Fallon fan. So it doesn't surprise me that Tim Fallon does that on NES. But yeah, so it's easy to do in Family Tracker, and I was trying to figure out how to do it in LSDJ. So far, I've discovered that the transpose column in the table is very helpful. but like I haven't touched the groove page. Like I have no idea how it works. So it's like it's a lot to take in, and like part of me worries like about like knowing everything before getting started, but also like I've been trying to take on the like punk rock mentality of just do
Yeah.
it and figure it out on the way.
Honestly, that's how I got through most of it. It's really like I used to commute via bus to my different jobs and had long commutes, and I would kind of sit down and think like I wasn't trying to make a song. I would sit down and try to learn something specific of like how do I make like a kick with a tail that goes into a bass. How do I use tables more? What commands can I throw in there? What can I do with that? So I think it's really beneficial to spend time with LSDJ where you're not trying to crank out a song. You're just trying to play with it and learn about it and do experiments. One of my songs was completely born out of trying to learn the ghost channel thing. And I liked the way it sounded, and it just like spiraled off from there, and it became like one of my favorite songs on there.
Nice.
But yeah,
Oh,
I think that there's a lot to be said for just like doing experiments and not being completely like pressuring yourself to make a song out of it. This is oh my god.
Now you notice it.
Can chat see this?
Chat can see this.
What happened?
Oh my god.
It's funny, I missed
Right
it.
right click save. Oh my god. Thank you so much. That is a treasure.
No problem. Actually, it's my time to go.
Oh yeah.
All right. See ya, guys.
See ya.
No
Bye,
problem.
Luigi.
Bye.
I will say though I know a bunch of what I know because of Roboctopus.
How long do
Oh.
streams usually take?
How long do what?
How long do these streams of the chip chat things usually take?
Max from now.
I feel like
half
we
an
usually
hour
go
more.
for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours. It's probably been an hour and a half. I'm gonna be here for a while.
Yeah. So that's another
I'm
half hour. Max.
I'm probably sitting here just eating popcorn and crying eternally. Though I have no idea.
So I think
Yeah.
everybody in this has like downloaded, if there's like a source file, I mean looking at somebody else's like FTM files, I think everybody is kind of like, you want to like glean tricks there but not copy people, like
Yeah.
exactly bite something they have. But I think that everybody has picked up things and learned from that. And honestly, like I think it was Roboctopus, the title move or title bout EP is so good. That guy is seriously a master of sound design and channel economy. And so I picked up a lot of tricks early on from that, but then it took me time to kind of process what they meant and how I wanted to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's
I
relevant.
What?
I almost did the slam poetry snaps.
Huh?
Yeah, that's really good,
Oh.
It's something I picked up at college because I went to UC Berkeley, which is like the most hippy dippy place.
Should I answer the question? What is the Ghost Channel?
Yes, I was actually going to ask you about that. Please do, because
The Ghost Channel is just overtones.
Oh.
The Ghost Channel is just where you, imagine that you have a sine wave, and then you go through and like, I'm gonna do a pattern of like every 5 pixels of this I'm gonna bump up and then leave the next ones alone, and then I'm gonna bump them up. So what I would essentially end up with is like a square wave transpose, like on top of a sine wave. So you end up with the low fundamental tone, but you end up with this really strong higher tone on top of it. So you can get anything in the overtone series. You can get an octave up, you can get an octave and a fifth up, and so on. Those are the two most useful for this purpose.
Yeah.
But it's really just making your making the waveform in the wave channel have really strong overtones where you hear both the original fundamental tone and the overtone really strongly.
Wow,
So
that's fascinating.
if you tweak it right, those can be different notes to where it sounds like all of a sudden you've got an extra channel out of nowhere, but there isn't. It's just a blend of stuff.
You could go really crazy with that, couldn't you?
It did. Let me. I'm gonna in the link here in the chat. If anybody wants to
yes, please.
listen to what I'm talking
Records.
about.
And it's by you. I've heard of this.
This is a song that really, actually, video explaining that there is a thing on YouTube, explaining the Ghost Channel, and it does it really well. The only thing it doesn't tell you is what combinations of numbers actually work for it, which I've got in the notebook right next to me, but I've got a spreadsheet. I've got a Google Doc spreadsheet I can share out also. But
That would be really cool.
it's just a way of getting what seems like an extra channel. And so it doesn't actually exist. It's just a trick of the wave channel, which is, why it's called Ghost Channel. But
yeah. It's like waveform synthesis, basically, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like dual oscillator, not quite. That dual oscillator
really cool.
stuff that's going on with like the 4 times speed version of LSDJ is completely insane. That's on a whole new plane of consciousness.
Can we listen to this on stream?
The song I linked?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Do we want to start at the same time?
Before we do that, I wanted to ask a few things / say a few things.
Yeah.
Firstly, I don't think I've gotten through all of it yet, but what I have heard of your album Toaster is amazing.
Thanks.
I really like it.
Good stuff.
I've been honestly pretty blown away by kind of the response that I've gotten, or people reaching out to me to tell me the same. I didn't quite expect it, but feels good, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate the album, so cool. The other thing was, I had some questions about the wave channel and the ghost channel, kind of. So I think I kind of understand the ghost channel. So I guess follow-up question 1 for the ghost channel is is it typically per instrument you can get 1 harmony? Or
Yeah.
can you? Yeah. So go ahead.
Not per instrument. It's just the wave channel. But
yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, but per instrument on the wave channel.
Yeah, because you can have it use just one wave frame, or I'm gonna link the video from this was Tyler Barnes. I don't remember Tyler Barnes' artist name, or if it's just Tyler Barnes. This video is a little bit of a chug to get through, and I kind of had to rewind a bunch of times thinking it through. But this is a really useful video for explaining what it is, how to set it up, what you can do with it. It's kind of, honestly, it's not going to work for every song. It's going to be kind of a special trick up your sleeve, just because most of the time trying to do wave or ghost channel is going to kind of get in the way of the bass sound that you want, and be a lot to juggle. Whereas, like, if you're doing channel economy well and building out your song well, then this is going to be kind of a niche thing. It's really good to be able to use. I can only imagine what like multiple Game Boys running together all doing this would sound like. You could have a whole chorus of sound just from wave channels.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what's going on.
Cool. Okay, 2 more quick questions. Question 1 is about the wave channel. Do you find that you most often use like the single wave? Like I forgot what you called it, but like the single waveform, basically.
Just like a single frame.
Yeah,
First frame.
single frame. Or do you make use of like the synth function and like going through?
I definitely use the synth function. Most often, my phrases on the wave channel are just full of F commands, or those are in tables. I generally like set it to manual and move the wave frames around myself with F commands, just because trying to do it in a way that sounds good with like loop mode or once mode, like there's the clickiness of it is like really overwhelms really quickly. So it kind of just putting the whole thing on manual and doing it where you choose to can kind of get as much as you want out of it in that way without just having it all the time be super clicky from changing frames.
Yeah.
And that clickiness is kind of a thing that you either have to work around or embrace.
Yeah. For the F commands, did you say you use like tables for that as well?
Yeah, like there are certain scenarios if I want to like have really specific timing on how it goes through. Like one of the super common LSDJ things is like the yoy, the like the wop thing.
Oh, I know what this is.
So it's like with this, it like starts at one waveform and goes through the list, advances through the waveforms and then goes back. But like, say if you don't want it to just be a straight like ping pong like that, if you want it to go quickly through them at first and then hang out on the last one and then, go slower back down or something like that, you would need a table for that. But then, so you can build, if you have like a waveform shape, like you want like a really slow, like I'm gonna go into dubstep terms here. Not even a thing I'm really into, but it's like you have the really slow wub always, where it's like wah, and that would be like one table where you do that with like a really slow groove in order for it to like fit all that. But then obviously you want the like quicker ones up all the way up to super quick, so you could like have 2 or 3 different tables that are all controlling what the wave channel does, but you just like trigger them in the phrase, or like use a different instrument, or trigger them at, like with A commands or something like that. It kind of depends. Like I have often run into times with songs where I set it up to be one way and then I realize that I painted myself into a corner and I have to go back and just being like, I had all these commands on just in the phrase, but now I can't fit my kick drums in there or something like that, to where I'm just like, okay, all these F commands that were in the phrase, I have to put them on the table now. I have to figure out a different way to do this. Like those are frustrating, but those are like learning moments, that give you ideas of like how to use some like a little bit of foresight. The more and more songs you do with LSDJ, the little bit more of like foresight you can have for, you know, avoiding these situations where you're like, oh crap, I used up all my tables or something like that. You know, figuring
Yeah.
out how you can reuse or have better economy or whatever that might be. So I mean, this is kind of why I emphasize with people who are getting into it is like, don't try to make the best song you've ever made like right off the bat. Just do it over and over and over and over again, and you know, recognize the tricks that you're learning, but also recognize like the mistakes that you're making, and try to use those to think ahead and plan ahead in the future. Especially if you're going to play live. Holy crap! You can really get yourself into a lot of trouble playing live. Like we did a live stream a while back, and I had one part where it was looping a sample. It was like the meow sample. It was looping it so fast that I forgot that I had written that part on an emulator in like Game Boy Color mode, and then I forgot about that. I forgot how, because that's one of the most CPU intensive things you can do on a Game Boy is manipulating samples. And so I go and play it on this live stream, and the whole thing freezes.
Oh.
Oh
It's
no.
like it's not responding to any controller inputs. It's just looping this meow over and over and over again. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is just like I like just turned up the reverb really high and just turned off the Game Boy and was like, end of song. That's all.
Oh. Oh, do you use like DMGs when you play?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
No,
that's other stuff you'll learn is like, you know, ways in which just like, oops, pushed it too far.
Yeah. Okay, and then I had one last question. And that is when you're well, I mean, I don't know if you still have a long commute or if you compose on the go, but like when you did do that or when you do that, do you use an actual Game Boy or do you like emulate?
Oh yeah. I've honestly, for me, it's the form factor. I've tried the phone emulators. I've tried all that stuff. I hate it. I hate it.
Mm.
The buttons on the DMG are just muscle memory to me at this point. Like even like trying to use a Game Boy Color or like a Advance SP. If I try to use LSDJ on those, I just hate it. It just because of the buttons. So yeah, I've always mostly composed directly on hardware. The only exception to that was the song I did for Chip Winter Wilderness. That one was done. That was a 2x LSDJ song that I did on emulators, just for ease to try it out. But
Interesting.
for the most part, always hardware, always DMG.
Yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure that out because like when I first started trying to learn LSDJ, I tried to load it or like I tried to do it on my Game Boy. But one of the problems that I ran into was that like I took the train and I still take the train, a different train, but I still take a train, and it's like so loud that I can't hear it even with the volume cranked up all the way. And I did the like I did a very simple mod that basically like rerouted the audio source, so it's like a cleaner signal, but it's not particularly loud.
Did that
And I'm
pro
also
sound?
yeah, and I'm on the I am using a Game Boy Color. So like I don't know if that affects volume or quality or whatever.
I think so. The Game Boy Color is a little bit hard to hear. It's a little bit wimpier in the bass and all of that stuff. And it kind of depends on the headphones, but I did really often run into that, and it kind of just does depend on the ambient noise level that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
trying
I
to
guess I could
link
try
it.
to put it on. I do have a DMG. It's just kind of dirty.
Yeah.
So I should like clean it up. Well, I mean, neither of them are backlit yet, but that's good to know. Maybe I'll give it a shot because like I'm okay with it on my phone. It's not like my favorite thing because I do prefer having like actual tactile buttons to press.
Yeah.
But like I can actually hear my phone, which is a plus, and
Yeah.
I can like pause and not worry about losing data.
Fuck.
But it
No,
also
keyboard
like
broken.
absolutely, it
God
absolutely like
damn it!
tears through my battery. Are you okay?
The keyboard broken. Now it won't open. My friend asked
Oh
me,
Yeah.
no,
but
I'm
we just kind
sorry.
of have to wait.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about like the DMG, even with a backlight, it lasts just almost like a month on batteries. I buy
Oh
rechargeable.
wow.
I buy rechargeables now, but it lasts a really long time. And honestly, this is part of what kind of had me like fall in love with making music this way. 'Cause if I linked my SoundCloud earlier, and like my older stuff, kind of pre-chiptune, was all composing in a DAW at home, like on a keyboard or something like that. And I very much like that stuff, but I more and more found like just kind of how magic it is to be so in touch with your music that you can just kind
Yeah.
of pull it out of your backpack and try to come up with a new part or something kind of anywhere. It's like I've got to I'm waiting at the dentist office or something, or like whatever else it might be. I remember one time like
I agree with
just
that.
like sitting by a lake and just like nobody around, and I'm just like, I'm gonna work on music. Feel like
That's beautiful.
it makes you feel like this is more part of your life that you carry around and do all the time.
Yeah.
And I love that connection to it. It's different. It's different than like, especially if I know that you play guitar, and so
Yeah.
like even just
Wait, who?
practicing
Who plays guitar?
guitar is hard because
What?
it's like other people can hear you, or it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
it can be awkward. Or if you sing, that's so awkward to work on and practice.
Yeah.
And but like this, having just this little thing, it boots up in like 3 seconds. The batteries last forever. All of these advantages to it. It's like I love the other chiptune formats. I absolutely love Genesis,
Oh
Master
man, I wish I
System,
had access.
like all of this stuff. I love the sounds of them, but I'm always going to be completely stuck to this thing that is like literally my friend that I carry around. I take it to work. I work on music on my breaks and lunches. You know, you don't really get to do that with other stuff.
Yeah. Wow, you've kind of won me over, honestly.
I've got a question I wanted to ask everyone, but I was waiting. I didn't want to interrupt anything.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask, like, for basically all you guys, like, when did you figure out that music kind of clicked for you?
Well, I'm from a really small town originally of about 700 people. And so I was in the school band and I played the baritone, which is
Oh.
basically like a mini tuba.
I've heard.
And our school band was so small that like we started out with like 8 people, and then the next semester there were only 6, and then like but
Mm.
not that much longer it was like me and a flute player. And so we had like a tuba and a flute. That's all
That's
we
iconic.
and it was that point where like I mean my music teacher had no idea what to do with this. So it was just kind of like, do you want to learn how to play guitar?
Or drums.
Yeah. It kind of like was like, do you want to learn how to play guitar? Like, yeah,
You're not
cool.
anything better to do here anymore. Or you got a
And
tuba and a flute. Doesn't take anything at this point.
yeah, I mean, so it was kind of like I had background in music. Kind of learned how to read monophonic sheet music, at least, like much younger. But guitar was different. Guitar, I immediately started learning, looking up tabs and learning. It was so much harder to find tabs then. Oh my god.
I'd imagine, yeah.
But that was where it really clicked for me as a thing of that I could express myself. Because the other stuff, playing a giant doot horn in a band, is you're always just following along. You're not playing anything that you wrote, and even if you did write something on the giant doot horn, nobody's gonna want to listen to it.
I would totally listen to a song made entirely of little doot horns.
So I mean, that's kind of where it clicked for me. Playing guitar did give me this whole idea of making my own stuff, of being original and doing my own creativity, and that just completely altered my musical trajectory.
What about you, Cass?
Oh, what about me?
Yes.
I have the exact opposite story. Because so essentially my mom plays the flute, and when I was growing up, she wanted me to play the guitar, and I remember.
Squonk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was super tiny, and trying to learn the guitar, I just wasn't really feeling it. So I basically just didn't learn music until somewhere in my teens, which I'm finally out of. But anyways,
From what I hear, it kind of
nice
sucks.
tubas, big honk.
Big honk.
Admire the honk.
The
And so I just didn't learn music for a while. And then I think my sister just was really into Guitar Hero, so I wanted to I really like to do activities with friends, especially games. So I would play with her and I would fill in the bass part because I I don't like doing the exact same thing as the other person. And I was like, oh wait, this feels too right. This sound, I really like the sounds coming out of this instrument that I didn't know existed because I never actively listened to music. So anything other than vocals and guitar was very foreign to me. But yeah, and I was like, ooh, this is fun. So later I get a bass. I watch a bunch of videos, learn how to mess with it. And then after a little while I started getting into chip music, which was kind of similar because with the bass you only play one note at a time, and with the NES, which is what I was working with, you only have one note at a time for each channel. So it sort of just felt like a triple bass or something like that. I didn't write it that way, but you know what I mean. And
yeah,
it was really cool trying to get the bass as much as you can out of just that one note.
Ow.
And so on and so on. So yeah.
Huh. That's a cool story. I remember how I did it because I was. Well, it's really actually kind of stupid because I once played this game called IDAR. Shout out to any players out there. This game deserves lots of attention. But yeah, it had this one part where you can. It was basically an esports game, but super simplistic. There weren't any animations for it, just little characters, and you can make your own characters and teams. And it came with a thing where you can make little music for the teams. And okay, I don't know why my friend is sending me a picture of a white pencil now, but but it came with a little music thing, and I tried it out, and I was like, oh, this actually not too bad. And I made a lot of really bad shit in it until eventually I was like, you know what, this ain't too bad. I think I can really get into this. And then I moved on to making stuff in Medley. Yeah, Medley, which was where I started really with my first song called "Prove Yourself," which sucked ass. In fact, there's about everything I did. Medley, not counting Soul Cruncher and Hydra, two all-time favorites. and the entire Lost playlist I made, which is really sad because I love that game. But everything I made with Melody, apart from those things, sucked. And then I moved on to GarageBand because I found out like what because the young Obed was using it, and I was like, wait, dude, that one has like the one where you put little bars on it, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me about this?
Yeah.
Because GarageBand is a bunch of great sounds, and I already kind of knew that.
Oh.
I used it before IDAR, but that was when I just used loops. I didn't really count it that much. So I was constantly, of course, like mind blown to Saturn, and I just got into it more from there. And now I'm just some idiot who makes music in his free time when he's bored. I do really miss that playlist I mentioned though. One of my friends, specifically Meowsh, actually, was making a Sonic band game called Sonic in the New World, and oh my god, I made like they weren't exactly the best, but I made some really great sounding melodies with the soundtrack there, and I really miss it so much. But it all had to get deleted because the game has changed so much that it was gone. Now he's bringing it back in the form of When Worlds Collide, and that game's just about. I think about this thing has been about as erratic as a jackrabbit on crack, so that's why I kind of gave up making music for it again.
Crack Jackrabbit. I remember that game.
Wait, well, no, don't tell me this is a reason. I
No,
got
I'm
that
just
because because she called me that after I ate a bunch of chocolate and then started bouncing off the walls.
Mm.
Now, where did everyone else first like hear about chip music that wasn't just like video game music? Where
Well,
you're just like, holy crap,
Ooh,
people can make
that's a
their
good
own?
I'm happy to move on to that topic, but I didn't get to tell my origin story.
Oof.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's get to it.
That's okay. I'll do it really quickly because I think we also have to wrap up the show pretty soon.
Yeah,
And I have to go because I have work.
Oh yeah.
But my origin story is I've always like been really drawn to music. Like I before I knew how music worked, I just like as far back as I can remember, I just loved music. But my family's poor, so like they didn't. I didn't have access to musical instruments until like not way later, till I was like 12ish when I begged my parents to buy me a guitar. And that was because my middle school had a guitar club, which was utter chaos. It was a bunch of, adolescent kids. And I they finally caved because they were like, oh well, you're just gonna like play it for a day and be bored of it, and they were so very wrong. So that's how I picked up guitar, and eventually, one day in middle school, they took me out of class and they were like, "Oh yeah, you have a dentist appointment," and I was like, "Oh, that sucks." But instead, we went to the pawn shop, picked up my first electric guitar and amp, and then we went to Shakey's, like the pizza place, and it was like the best day of my like 13-year-old life. Possibly the best day of my entire life.
So far.
Yeah,
Wow.
so far.
Oh heck, I didn't mean for it to come off that way, but that's a Simpsons thing. Oop. Anyways.
Huh?
I didn't mean
What?
for it to come off that way, but that's a Simpsons thing, isn't it?
Oh, so far.
Anyways.
Oh, it's the worst day of my life so far.
Always be
That's funny.
enthusiastic.
Yeah, so that was how I started with guitar. And I mean the rest, like I joined band. Like I'm very much a self-taught musician. The first music class I really took was like in college. But like since high school, like I would fiddle around with like little like cheap keyboards that I got as like toys, or like my cousin bought me one for like Christmas one year. Um, and yeah, it's basically just been a series of just like, oh, what can I get my hands on to like make noise with? And then I found Family Tracker, and yay. Before that, actually, though, I did like Mario Paint Composer stuff.
Oh,
I didn't
No.
like
I've always wanted
post
to.
anything, but I was like super into it for the longest time.
Zero Janitor says, I started writing music and then I just never stopped. So I guess this is what I do now.
I'm pretty sure I was going for all of us in really low terms, at least.
Yeah.
Do we want to save
Um,
the when did you first hear of chiptune topic for the next time, or
Well,
are we
I
okay
just
with
don't know
running
that
the show a
everybody's
little
going to
bit
be
late?
here the next time. That's my
Now,
worry.
in my opinion, I don't know. You guys pick. You're the hosts. Like I said,
Do you want to
at the
wrap up with that?
side
Just so
entertainment.
that we actually know who's in the
sure.
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toaster, you asked a question. Did you have an answer ready?
Well, yeah, because the picture I just posted is part of that. It's so like I'd always been into the video game music, like soundtracks stuff and all that stuff, but it just kind of like hadn't crossed my mind for a really long time. But it was right after this Beck album came out, the Beck's Wero album. There was this this is like when buying music on the internet was pretty new, and like
Yeah.
I so I there was this remix album that had all these like 8-bit remixes of all this stuff, and it was fucking awesome, and I thought it was so much better than the original versions. And I'm just like, how did these people do this? What clearly, like, if people are making
You're
remixes of this stuff, then it's
It's
like,
all a magic trick, a giant magic
yeah.
trick.
So, and then there's this picture this picture I posted in here that was like the cover art for the remixes, and it's like a guy with a like holding a Game Boy like plugged into Marshall stacks.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that made that's the thing that kind of made me think, like, is this real?
That looks really
Like, is this like, are people actually making music like on the Game Boy itself? And it got me super curious about it, and that's kind of, and so it's like early on I found out about Nanoloop and LSDJ and like some of this stuff. I had just kind of like I had heard about them, but then they didn't come back, and again that just kind of drifted away from my mind until years later when I broke my shoulder, and I was like, remember that cool Game Boy stuff you were interested in? Now's the time.
Mm.
I joined 8-Bit Collective like 2 weeks before it went down. So
Oh, rip.
yeah, so I like missed all of that. So there was kind of like an internet void on that stuff for a while. But yeah, I never really expected it to take over as the primary kind of music that I make. It's just ended up being more and more interesting to me than, I mean, if you look, like I said, my SoundCloud has a whole bunch of DAW based music, and I like the stuff, but it's just not what I'm ambitious towards right now. Part of it was like I didn't have any way to perform this like DAW based stuff live, other than like showing up with a laptop, pressing the space bar, and
Right.
I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to like feel like I was performing music. So I leaned into trying to make chiptune as much of a performance as I could.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
That's a big mood. I have like a
Tris-
lot of feelings about that. I'd really love to
I
talk
think
to
your
you
story
about that.
wasn't it very similar?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't remember like the exact first like introduction I had with chiptune stuff. Like, I mean, I remember really enjoying like since I didn't have an NES, like Game Boy music was pretty much my first exposure to like 8-bit music. Like Pokemon had some good stuff, especially like later, like the final battles and stuff. But like I grew up playing like Zelda games for Game Boy, like Link's Awakening and the Oracle games, and like so on and so forth. But I remember Coatless Carl, I think, was the first Family Tracker musician that I ever came across on YouTube, and I remember being like so blown away, and it was just like a screen capture of like Family Tracker playing, and it looked like the Matrix, you know,
Yeah.
like
I can see that.
And I was just like, what is this like madness? And like he did, or they, I don't actually know their pronouns, did a cover of like the Super Smash Bros. Melee like opening theme, and that like blew my mind. And like the opening like mission song from Final Fantasy VII, and just like they have a bunch of really good stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think they're super active at this point, but like that was my introduction to Family Tracker. I'm pretty sure there's a comment somewhere from my channel being like, hey, like what do you use to make this? And like that's how I got started with Family Tracker, and um it's just been like a blast learning more and more. And I'm really excited about LSDJ because I'm kind of getting that feeling of like, oh, this is really fun and this is cool to learn again.
That's interesting to hear. I remember, I don't know if you feel this one anymore, but like you've been telling me that you wanted to like brand yourself as like an NES singer duo.
Oh yeah, like that is absolutely still true. And even with LSDJ, like I feel like there's still
Very similar energy
that
there.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still want to have that, like, you know, my bandmate is now a Game Boy for this song, you know, like
Um,
that kind of energy.
I
But
I have a
yeah.
person in my local scene that is pretty much exactly that same thing. Like plays guitar, sings, and just kind of like actually refers to the Game Boy as like their bandmate. You know?
Yeah, I literally like call my NES my bandmate, like
My best friend.
and I have
Do
a
you have a
lot of
name?
really like ambitious things. No, she doesn't have a name yet. But maybe like Nessie or something. I don't know. That's lame.
Oh, I like it.
um yeah, so like at this point, I'm kind of focusing on like the what rather than the how, because for a long time I was like this whatchamacallit, like a purist, you know. I was like, it's hardware or bust, you know, like it has to be
Oof.
like it has to be real, which is not something that I would ever say about someone else's music, you know, like
Yeah.
somebody else using a laptop to play Family Tracker, or like using a backing track from their DAW or whatever, like more
Yeah.
power to you. But like I just had this like stupid standard in my head. But um like my latest kind of passion project slash idea is like having foot controlled, I don't know what to call it, like having access to functionality with like a foot switch, so that I can play guitar and sing and like use my feet to change things, so that I can have like dynamic performances with Family Tracker,
I know
or with,
people who can help you with that.
really, please put me in touch. Yeah, because I have all of these ideas, and unfortunately, like, because poverty, I I haven't been able to like put them into practice, because you know materials cost money, time needs to be spent working and whatnot, because capitalism. But uh, at this point, like it's just way more feasible to do that on a laptop rather than trying to figure it out with my NES, because that would require me to buy like more stuff that is kind of expensive. So that's where I am now in terms of like chiptune. But yeah, like it was absolutely revolutionary. And like the other thing was finding people's quote unquote 8-bit remixes
Yeah.
that are just like yeah, like not. It's
Oh,
just like
the dreaded GXCSS. But like
yeah,
I always mess up the letters. But
yeah, it's
yeah.
garbage anyway, so don't even worry.
Um,
But yeah, like at a certain point, I was just like, wow, I could make something that's way better than this. I should do that, and then I did.
to be honest, I am definitely still a hardware warrior and like
Hmm.
plan to stay that way. Just
Just
I mean, part of
question
it's
on the
I don't
server.
trust
Keyboard's
computers.
broken.
Yeah.
on stage. I've tried it before, and it's really hard. But at the same time, I kind of do it like I have it just I'm from Salt Lake City, like Triss knows. I don't know if Cass does. Like my chiptune scene is currently like 5 people,
Mm.
and so like that's it. That's all of us. So like I go and play some of these like electronic open mic stuff with that some people put on because I have a lot of support from the synth community there, but I kind of do. I bring as little as possible deliberately to flex on these dudes who are bringing like $3,000 worth of rack mount or of like modular
Hell
gear
yeah.
and still like not really even making a song. Like I'm never shitty about it. I'm never directed that way, but I am low key flexing on people who are just throwing money.
Now you're
That's
exposed.
beautiful.
I'll tell you on Twitter. No. You'll meet your doom.
I have like the biggest like shit-eating grin on my face right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take an opportunity to plug a couple of things.
All right.
I'm gonna start up streaming again, and I'm gonna be
Ooh.
streaming LSDJ production
Ooh.
mostly, with an educational focus. I'll be putting links out to Discord, the relevant stuff when I'm getting back into that. But I'm gonna start trying to do that weekly and just work on some brand new material. I kind of stopped for a while because I was trying to get this album done and I didn't want to like overexpose people to the material. But now that all of that's out of the way and I'm working on new stuff, I do want to start that up with the intent of letting people ask questions and showing people things, of kind of what I know, or maybe like a process of mutual learning. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that soon.
Yeah.
Let us
Obviously.
know if you want us to boost that at all on our server.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap this thing up soon. It's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
And half an hour.
Should I share or should we just close it off?
We should just close it off.
You can share quickly if you want.
Oh.
Very quickly. You need to speak at like
I started making
80 words per
the
second.
chip tunes before I knew it was a thing, and then when Lumen hit me up, I was like, oh wait, other people kind of do this thing, and then now I have a bit of chip tunes. Okay.
Okay, very good. 10 out of 10.
Lumi, what about you? Super
Oh
speed.
man, I have no idea how the fuck I even discovered chiptune, but it just came to me.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
My last and final plug is just my recent new album.
Oh yes.
Listen to it. It's beautiful.
I remember we plugged that last time also, but like I don't.
album/empty.
We didn't have you, so it wasn't really that proper. We were just kind of like, hey, this album just came out, listen to it. Also now it's in the chat. All right, sweet.
All right.
With that, I suppose we'll close up. Any final words?
Yes. This is
thanks.
probably the last one I'm able to do for a really long time, because I don't get much time at my dad's house. So
Oh heck.
my final words are egg quesadilla.
Egg quesadilla. There you have it.
Zesty.
Delicious.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This is a bit of chiptune.
Night, everybody.
We'll
Bye.
see you next week.